What is it that you invested thousands of hours in now is pointless? Self-development books, psychology books, and biographies to find out what the fuck is wrong with me. One 30 seconds information video about ADHD changed my life. The clouds parted. I'm now on medication, and living the life I wanted to create for myself by taking a simple pill every morning. It took 37 years, but I'm now the person I felt was locked in there since I was a child. I'm so happy I could cry. Well, almost. I still haven't cracked the code on that one, but I'm pretty damned happy. Not to mention a better husband, father and worker. Oh boy, here I motherfucking go. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Clash of Clans or any other stupid video game. Learning useless stuff about animals. It was quite interesting to learn all of that, but that knowledge is quite useless. Nobody likes to hear about stupidity of existence of koalas. Lame shows. Thor: Love and Thunder. Working out in a gym before learning the essential knowledge necessary to not look dumb. Talking to that one emo girl. I will not talk about this. IT just was not worth it. CW: Self-harm. A career that chewed me up and spat me out, left me hopeless and suicidal because I was being held back by neurological problems that my bosses were aware of when hiring me. Lost my sense that I could offer the world anything and make a living to provide for my family. Self-harmed a lot with the end goal of suicide. Managed to stop a level up from rock bottom and am slowly gaining back a sense of belonging and purpose. Not figured out a career that I can cope with though. I made cartoons for classes and my own amusement using the Spider-Man cartoon maker. They were all irreverent, so I would be cancelled for them today. And I never pursued a career in voice acting or animation. Maybe I should though, since I am friends with an Oscar-winning actor and director and he could probably hook me up. I also worked for 6 years in workforce development getting other people jobs. But those skills are useless with today's hiring practices. This is the life of a geneticist. The field moves quickly with the technology and techniques, but they are all very complex and difficult to learn. More than once in my life, I have poured myself into a specialized skill to be the best in the building, only to have that skill be obsolete the next year. It never feels that bad, though, because the replacements are almost always faster, easier, and get you better results, or else they don't really take off. Not literally 100 of hours, but I was obsessed playing piano in high school. Not that it is bad inherently, just that I don't have any use for it afterwards. I didn't want to turn it into a career that make a hobby its sure downfall, and I can't find time to do it during university. There just isn't enough return, whether it be social or economic, for me to practice it. I wish I could find purpose in playing again. I got an aviation degree because it used to be the only way you could qualify to become an air traffic controller. The age cutoff is 30 and I graduated when I was 29. Well, they decided to restructure the hiring process mere months after I graduated and cancelled all hiring panels for 2 years. I aged out and now have a fucking useless degree that I still pay students loans on. I've invested, I would imagine, thousands of hours on video games. But I wouldn't say it was all pointless. True, many games I played I cannot anymore, old gen consoles, servers no more, etc. Some homes I don't play anymore as I grew tired of them or whatever. But still, none of it is pointless. Why? Because I got enjoyment out of them. That isn't pointless. Thousands of hours and still counting. Cursive. I'm pretty sure my graduating class was the last ones to learn it, and now it's unironically the only way I know how to write is my print looks horrible. But now I gotta sit there and translate it out to other people who don't know how to, which is nice and a pain in itself at the same time. Nothing. Everything I've invested time in. 1. Brought me income if it was work which I needed. 2. Was relevant at the time even if the world later changed, which I needed. 3. Was something I learned from if it was a mistake, which I needed. 4. Brought me peace of mind, quality of life, less anxiety, which I absolutely need. You don't realize how hard it was to invest 1K in Bitcoin and had to do a shady wire transfer to an exchange that when you would have had to not left it on, set it in an offline, not have the hard drive blown out, let the hard drive go to a landfill erroneously. World of Warcraft. Had over 750 days of played time across my characters back in the day. Used to spend 10-12 hours a night raiding with the guild. Then they released the first expansion which raised the max level to 70. All the gear I had worked so long for was more basically worthless by level 63. Indigenous knotting. I used to be able to make the most beautiful dresses, armors, and regalia using traditional knotting and beading techniques. Broke my arm about a decade ago, got fat, and got arthritis. Now my hands don't even work well enough to teach the next generation how to do it. I spent over a decade learning how to draw, studying design techniques, etc. Tried to work as a professional designer and illustrator and it was terrible and made no money. Now I'm a software developer. Every once in a blue moon it's useful for making graphics, but really just pointless. Wow! I haven't talked to any of my old guildmates in years. I got server first skills and worked my ass off to be the top of my game, and it means next to nothing. I look back on the time I spent fondly and wouldn't trade the experience for anything. But it really does nothing for me. Drafting. 3 years in high school plus summers in preparation for architecture school. That lasted one 10-week term before switching to history. It turns out I enjoyed the software side of CAD because I now work with digital humanities and online collections of materials. I managed to accidentally wipe the drive that held all my work. I'm a semi-professional game dev, there was 10 years worth of meshes, materials and code. It's been 10 days, I've just been in a sort of state of shock, having tried and failed to recover the lost files. Minecraft. From 2011 to probably 2018, 2019 it was like, my go-to depression game. When my depression got bad, some days I'd play for 12 hours. Build a whole huge city with districts, multiple tall buildings, rail system, a mob zoo, etc. I kinda miss it sometimes. Playing trombone. Traveled in Europe playing jazz, spent close to 15-20 grand on trips, lessons, equipment, etc. Even specialized in bass trombone with some dabbling in piccolo trombone as well. Now I'm in the radio industry and barely touch the thing. Overwatch. I stuck with it for a long time with hopes of OW2 pure PvE gaming fueling me. Then OW2 dropped. Without its and now they cancelled PvE altogether. And the battle pass sucks but so the PvP doesn't even have anything left either. When I was 20 I got a job at an up and coming tech company. 6 months later they went IPO in a big way, and I was worth $2 million on paper. 6 months later the market crashed and the stock tanked. Before I was legally allowed to touch the shares. I always thought I was genius. Life would be easy. Tried to make my own app like Facebook without any academic training. It took me 5 years to accept that I might not be a genius. Now over the few weeks I've really into writing. Asian parent piano lessons. Didn't make them happy, didn't make myself happy, never got any good at it. Gained no useful skills whatsoever for the several hundred hours per year for multiple years spent practicing. Working. With inflation and low wages, you can't afford anything from food to rent, mortgages, car payments, health insurance, etc. 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 Add on this focus with AI to replace all the workers. What's the point? My life, spent years trying to fix myself only to find out that there's nothing but rot right down to the very core. Still trying to cleanse it because I don't know what else to do but goddamn is it exhausting. Marriage. That and raising other people's kids. If I knew then what I know, I'd be a hell of a lot richer if nothing else. Edited to add that I'm female. Not that it should be relevant. My PhD. It's fucking worthless and I'm done with academia. Now I work in a corp mindlessly filling Excel spreadsheets for twice the money I was paid and I've never been happier in my entire life. I spent a lot of time studying anatomy, biology, etc. Was sure I was going to med school and was a biology major. I just graduated with a theater degree lol. Now I have 2 useless things if you disregard the joy that it brought me, and the fond memories video games. The reason I don't play anymore is that I always get the feeling I could be doing something more useful. I spent half my army career in various schools learning to repair nuclear missiles. Now I'm doing desktop support and teaching the new guys how to install printers remotely. Learning to draw and animate. I'm so glad I went into STEM and not art school, even though I keep up with the industry. I'm watching it get smashed to bits before my eyes. I learned French quite well as Dutch person, but please tell your children to spend their valuable studying time on subjects they can actually use in their jobs. Listening to and organizing CDs, making mixtape CDs, reading about music and bands. It was enjoyable but my field isn't anything close to the music industry. I played around 12k hours of soccer. Got pretty good at it but it didn't work out so now I'm an engineer that secretly can play soccer at professional level. I was a Jehovah's Witness for 30 years, average of 15 hours a month knocking on doors, preaching Armageddon that never will come. Free for 23 years now. Art. I used to draw multiple hours almost every day. It didn't go anywhere unfortunately. And my skill level was not that high to put it mildly. In a sense, my English master's since I don't teach English anymore and I was already a capable technical writer before I started my grad program. Runny. What a waste! I get severe metatarsalgia anytime I try. So frustrating because I've tried so many times. Guess cycling is my drug. Old school RuneScape. Well, pointless. It was a foundation for learning English and learn how to not get scammed, so there's that, I guess. It took me 8 years to get my chemical engineering degree. I never worked a single day as a chemical engineer. I'm a data analyst now. Medical assistant school. I am now in a completely different field making way more money. Most healthcare jobs are highly underpaid. My own life doesn't seem like I'm going anywhere. I've made literally no progress academically or professionally in 4 or 6 years. Aikido. Got the second dan and then realized it wouldn't help me achieve what was initial goal, i.e. be able to defend myself. I have a bachelor's degree in astronomy from one of the world's best universities. I now work as a software engineer. I know all the tricks to make a website look as good in Internet Explorer 6 as in Chrome, Safari or Opera. 20 yes at USPS before fleeing to another competitive service agency rather than staying accepted service. I worked in high tech for 40-ish years. Almost everything I learned became obsolete. It's a treadmill. A bachelor's and master's degree allow you need school to make a good living was the biggest lie. BA in human I kept failing statistics, a required course. Time. Grinding for Jedi and pre-2 Star Wars Galaxies. She is now deleted when the game closed. Sigh. Sanskrit lessons in school. Not once have I used that language since I gave my 10th exam.